I tried to challenge myself to upload 30 shorts for a month, and this is what happened. Today I'm going to be going over my experience doing this, jumping into some of my analytics, addressing some questions and theories that I've heard about shorts, and also just some things I've noticed and learned along the way. I wanted to start off by talking about engagement. Just like all content, engagement is key. I would say that almost all content fall into these umbrella categories. It can either be educational, these are going to be your reviews or how-tos, and then there's also entertainment, which are going to be your maybe meme culture stuff, pop culture. It could be like your TikTok dances, your makeup, glow ups, your cars, I don't know what you're into. And then it goes into motivational or inspirational. These could be your like, watch me get up at 5 a.m. to do my hike. This is how I started my own shop and scaled my business, my Etsy business or whatever, which is like a blend of informational and also motivational. So I was thinking about this and thinking about what kind of content that I want to be putting out there, like what category of stuff do I want to like have my shorts fall under, which begs the question, does niche matter? Does my content need to fall into a specific type of content? Do I have to consistently and always be posting within a certain niche in the market or whatever my brand is? And I would say the answer is yes and no. I would say the larger majority is no, because if you look at shorts right now, YouTube is constantly pushing out and trying to promote that kind of integration into their system. So I would say that's a really good thing, because that means that on the shorts feed, you can get more eyeballs and more people to look at your stuff, even if you don't have a specific niche. Because if you're looking at the shorts feed itself, you don't really know who the creators are, you're just catching whatever lands in front of you, right? But that being said, the reason why I would say yes, like a smaller percentage of the answer is yes, is because once someone finds a video of yours that they really like, they're probably gonna want to look at your channel. I would say this is probably not as intuitive of a response, at least in my own experience. Like sometimes when I see a video that I really like, I don't necessarily look at their whole channel and what it's all about, but I would say on the off chance that someone actually likes your video and then wants to know more about you, that is kind of where niche starts to matter. Because if they liked one type of video of yours, perhaps they would like something very similar, and that's where the importance comes in of, do you create similar videos that that person can continue to binge watch your stuff, or is it all randomized and was that just like a one-time thing or one-time video that you're posting? I would say a better question to ask yourself is actually, how can I get people to watch my stuff? Now, if you look at your analytics, like mine over here, you can see the number of people or the percentage of people who swipe and stay onto your shorts video, or they swipe away. And I'm gonna get more into this later. And I think this actually comes down to the initial hook. Are you able to reel people in? Are you able to get them interested? And this actually comes down to the hook in your actual video as well, and all the kind of best practices that you might want to use in your actual shorts to be able to give it the best opportunity possible. And I'll get more into that in a bit as well. Let's take a look at what I put out in the month. Full disclosure though, I did put out 30 shorts total, but around the 24th sort of video, I did fall off a little bit and it wasn't as consistent and posting every single day, but I tried to put it as close as I could towards the timeline, but I do take that into account when I show you my analytics later. Looking at my top 6 shorts, I did notice something quite immediately, which is that skits actually did pretty well for me. I thought that the videos that would blow up or do well for my channel would be the wow factor ones, the ones that had a lot of like cool moments or transitions, which is kind of like the video editing style that I really enjoy and have been creating the most. Videos like those actually didn't translate very well onto my shorts, whereas on Instagram Reels, I find that to be very popular. An example would be like this video over here, but it didn't really do that well on shorts. In fact, this video over here did just about the same in terms of view count as this video over here, which is just me on my laptop. And I think like the ones that I thought were gonna be like, oh, this is great, this is such a wow factor moment, actually ended up kind of flopping. You can even see that one of the 6 that actually did do well is this look at me transition. And the reason why that one I think stood out, as well as the 7th upload, which is the Barbie one, is because I hopped on to a pop culture moment, because Doja Cat's new song came out at that time, and on top of that, Barbie was like a huge rave when the movie came out, right? So something that I noticed is that if you are going to be doing a transition video, it has more to do with the topic and the pop culture and the conversation about the topic that you're doing the transition on than the actual transition itself. So it's almost like the transition or the cool wow factor of it isn't enough to engage the audience. Rather, it should be related to the ongoing conversation in pop culture or whatever your community is. That being said, I have seen trends that blow up on TikTok and Instagram translate a little bit over to shorts. So I know this is a little bit confusing, but my point here is that timing matters. It's more about the timing of when you release the short that you want to create and the trend that you want to hop on than the actual transition or wow factor itself. Speaking of Instagram versus shorts, I did notice for my channel that actually the reach or the views were pretty inverse. So what would do well on Instagram Reels for me doesn't necessarily do well on shorts, but the ones that do well on shorts might not necessarily do well at all on Instagram. And this is actually a really good way to almost experiment whether or not it's your content that's the issue or it's the algorithm or the platform that you're posting on that's the issue. But I think that'll give you some idea of like, oh, is my content valuable? Is there something good here that people might like? An example I will say that flopped on both for me is this video over here of me hiking. I felt like this was a really personal moment for me. It was just like me vibing in nature, and I was like, yeah, this is good. Like, this is like my moment here, and I felt like such a main character in my own little world. And yeah, it didn't do well for both. So that kind of tells me like, okay, like that's not really the sweet spot that I'm hitting in terms of my content or the right audience, or even like maybe that video just wasn't engaging at all. So I think that's a really good place to start if you're ever lost about how to make my content better, or even if you're questioning like, is it my content? Do I need to make better content? And if you are looking to make better content, you can check out my entire playlist or all of my editing videos here, so you can like level up your editing skills and make cooler stuff. I actually wanted to address the difference between the music type of short form content, where you pick music and then you overlay it with like something you're trying to show, versus like talking kind of content where you're like almost vlogging or you're reviewing something or something along those lines. I've noticed that unless someone is specifically going out to look for that trend or that song, it's almost always more engaging to have someone talk into the camera. Next time you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Shorts, notice the ones that you skip and the ones that actually pull you in within the first 3 seconds. I actually want to hear you guys' experience with this, but for me as a consumer, I realized that I actually get hooked in almost immediately by someone talking instead of the music, because I actually want to hear what they have to say. Don't forget that every single person has their own personality, which is what makes their content more unique than the other person. Your content is going to be special because of you, even if you're touching upon the same topic as someone else. No one has the same personality or charisma or the way of styling their videos, talking to videos the way that you do. So you can see this example with my Barbie video. Barbie was such a big topic and everyone left and right was talking about Barbie, but for me, I wanted to incorporate my own voice and vlog style this experience of creating this photo shoot. And I feel like I'm still trying to find the middle ground between that, because I've seen a lot of vlog style videos that do pop up. So far from what I've seen, those do well because they already have a bigger channel or an existing audience, but I do want to keep trying at that to see and experiment more like where that can go and does that work for smaller channels. So let me know as well what you guys have experienced with that. But that does beg the question, does channel size matter? I've heard different things, like maybe for bigger channels it might not be optimal. I'm not sure about that, but I will say it has been good for mine. So let's jump into my analytics and talk about it. So I've customized the date to exactly when I've uploaded those shorts. The first day starting on July 18th and then the last day on August 28th. So you can see it's a bit longer than 30 days, but this is the exact time span that I have uploaded all 30. For shorts alone, I have gathered about 63,000 views, and there's two different ones. So this one says that this is the total amount of views that you get within the time range, and then shown in feed is how many times this was shown. So I assume that this means the reach. It was shown in the shorts feed, okay? For subscribers, a total of 135 subscribers increased during this period of time. Now that might not sound like a lot to you, but for a channel of my size, which is about 5K, let me show you my regular analytics of what a regular month does look like. You can see from the month before, from May 18th to June 28th, that I gathered around 328 new subscribers, but this was me uploading 0 shorts. This is all from long form content, which takes so much longer to create. And if you look at the 135, it's almost about half of that subscriber count alone. So that alone tells me like, okay, there's a lot of opportunity over here to be able to grow your channel without having to create a whole bunch of long form content, which I've actually seen people grow their channel from. So there are a lot of channels out there actually that look like they have no uploaded videos, but they have a certain number of subscribers, either because they transferred their audience from a different platform, or because if you look at their shorts feed, they're just consistently pushing out shorts. Now, do I think it's a good thing to only be posting shorts on your channel? To be honest, no. people do say that, oh, that's a way to like do a quick, fast growth. So if that is what you're looking for, then yes, by all means go for it. But to be honest, I don't recommend only posting shorts, because once you have that, it doesn't necessarily retain your audience, like I've mentioned before. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna stay. It could mean that, but I feel like the reason why people have found my stuff and decided to subscribe is also because of my long form content. They kind of go hand in hand because they are related to each other, which is also why we touched upon the topic of niche before as well. And you can see over here as well, this is what I was talking about earlier about the 45 viewed / 54 swiped away. I think I can definitely improve on my content so that this number will be smaller. Even in the last 90 days, it's about the same, because honestly, I don't upload shorts regularly at all. You can see very much so the time period in which I started uploading shorts to experiment with it. But this also means that most of the videos that I have are not engaging enough or don't have a strong enough hook to be able to grasp people in to stay and binge watch the rest of my content. And I suspect it's because if you look at my shorts over here, my most popular short would be this Head in the Clouds creative portrait one, which is at 6.5k views. But then it trickles very, very quickly to reaching like around an average of like maybe 1k, 2k, which is a far drop. So unless I'm gonna be creating consistently at the quality of that stuff, perhaps the swipe away percentage is gonna be staying around the same. So you really wanna take that into account to learn how to make better stuff. While shorts can be beneficial because they're a lot less time consuming and easier to create, I do think for those who don't look into shorts analytics, you guys should definitely see this. This line right here is exactly why I don't suggest you completely relying your strategy on YouTube to only uploading YouTube shorts. And what this is a huge spike in the beginning when you first upload your content or your short, and then it pretty much plateaus. And I've seen that to be the case on almost every single one of my shorts. So it's really like a one and done situation, like once you put it out there. So what I want to say about shorts is that the shelf life is very, very, very short. So while it might take less effort to create the short, the longevity of it doesn't really exist. And perhaps it's because I haven't seen a huge launch where I'm like in the millions and gone viral that I haven't seen it like continue to snowball with views. Other than that, if you're like the average person uploading shorts, it just dies almost right away if the algorithm doesn't pick it up. If you did everything right, you have great content, and then you also did everything possible to help your short have the best opportunity, which I will get into later about best practices for shorts. But if you did all that stuff right and it does happen to launch your shorts into a whole like algorithm system where you catch the right audience's attention, it launches. And how long can you sustain that launch? That'll be really out of your hands at that point. So I have kind of mixed feelings about this. I think while it does help you attract new eyeballs, I will say the thing that I've loved the most about YouTube is the fact that it's so evergreen, or it has the potential for your content to be evergreen. What that means is that once you put it out there, it can continue to grow and grow and have the opportunities to find the right people. Let's take a moment to talk about uploading best practices, the things that are the final touches of your short before you put it out there, which are the title, the thumbnail, the tags, and the descriptions, and how that might influence the success of your short. This is something that I've questioned for some time now, and it's, do tags and descriptions even really matter? I really wanted to say no, because I'm like, who's even gonna look at that stuff? Like, how often do you look at a short and then tap on the description and actually read what they write, unless the person in the short is actually addressing like, oh, you can find the link in my description, or you find the link in the comment, or whatever. Unless they're doing that, how often do you actually read the description, or do you just like swipe away and you're like, okay, next, cool. Unfortunately, when I look at the top 6 videos that I created, 5 out of 6 of them had all of those things checked off. It had a specific title, it had like a whole SEO description, and I put in the tags that I thought were very, very relevant to my short. The only one that I didn't do anything for is the Doja Look At Me one, and again, I touched on that, on why I think that one was successful. Don't forget, YouTube is a search engine, so I think what happens there is that people are going to be finding your short regardless, because you have it in your description what it's all about, and then the people who are actually searching for those things can find the relevance in it. Lastly, thumbnail. Now, YouTube did take away the option to like customize your own thumbnail, but what I have found to be really helpful is to actually send the video to my phone, upload the short from my phone, and then there's a little like pencil pen button before you upload it to kind of choose what part of your video that you want to choose to display and like have as the thumbnail. That's like the best option that we get right now. Unfortunately, I remember a time where that was an option, so it's very painful, and I hope they bring that back. But for now, you are going to want to try and scroll to the part of your video that has the best thumbnail, and on top of that, you should probably have a caption caption on it, because all the shorts that I found that did really well have the little like caption in the thumbnail for people to kind of get a preview of what it's all about. It is really annoying because that does mean that you're gonna have to put that caption in the actual video, and sometimes I just want to upload a video without the caption. Like sometimes I just want to upload it all aesthetic, and I feel like the words ruin it, but it works, it does something, and it acts as a hook. Either it's the little like title on top where it gives you a little bit of an understanding or introduction to what the short is going to be about, but I have seen people include the bottom caption, which is like a part of the subtitles in the middle of the video, which can pique curiosity as well. Something that I forgot to mention as well is the use of emojis in your titles or in your thumbnails. I don't know if it's placebo, but I actually feel like it does something, at least like to the naked eye, when you're just like overloaded with so much stimulation and so much content. I don't know, I feel like the emojis kind of help draw your eye towards your content a little bit, so do give that a try. Something that I found pretty helpful was to attach the music that related to my video as like the background music. Just as a personal preference, but something I really do suggest is that if you are going to be using someone's music and you found the trend on Instagram that, you know how like on Instagram all these like music pops up and then the original creator of the music gets a little bit lost in the whole mess of things, I really recommend looking for the original creator, the musician, whatever it is, who created the audio or the remix of it, to use that audio and attach it to your shorts. It's just a personal preference of mine because I think, you know, you gotta give credit where credit is due instead of like having a lot of copies of that same audio version, which I know exists, and it's really, really hard actually to find the original creator of it. But if you can, I really suggest it because, you know, like that's their work, right? And so it helps you as well because other people who are looking for that music can actually see the shorts that come up as well. So it's a win-win. So definitely try those best practices the next time you upload a short. Let me know in the comments down below if it has made a difference for you, because I'm actually curious if it's just me trying to draw conclusions or like this is a thing. And finally, I wanted to touch upon my experience doing this whole challenge itself. 30 shorts consistently is really freaking hard. And I will say majority of the shorts that I uploaded were actually backlogged. Like at one period of time, I was creating consistent short form videos and I put most of that up on my channel because I realized it was never there before and it was all on my Instagram, and I wanted to see how it actually interacted differently with the different platforms. So my recommendation is that if you are already a creator and you've been on different platforms, let's say TikTok or Instagram, you might as well throw all your short form content onto your page right now onto your channel right now on YouTube, because you never know what will stick. And honestly, this is a really, really good way to experiment with all of it and see what the algorithm on YouTube looks like and what it prefers or how it differs from your other platforms as well. And if you aren't a creative, I definitely suggest batch creating a whole bunch of content first so that you have everything ready and then you can push it out more consistently. So on the chance that the algorithm actually does pick up your short, they'll be able to go to your channel and then look at all the different types of shorts that you've uploaded and know what your whole channel is about. I've also heard that shorts does compensate financially a little bit better than the other platforms, and if you've already reached the monetization benchmarks, I definitely think it's very, very, very worth it. I've definitely seen it be worth it on my channel as well. I also will say that coming up with the ideas, even if I created like majority of my shorts in the past, I had to continue to think of new ones and think of like what else to create, just like any other platform, and I found it pretty difficult. I think perhaps because of the niche or the type of content I'm trying to create. Sometimes I feel like you can also just create really casual ones that I've seen on shorts do very, very, very well, but definitely keep that in mind as well when you're creating your batch content. Like this is something that you would have to upkeep. Let me know if you've heard other things or tried to implement and experiment with your shorts too. I would love to know in the comments down below. I would say that I wish I could keep this up and like upload every single day. I don't know if I can like sustain this right now, but it was a really, really nice way to experiment how shorts can help boost your channel, and I definitely recommend it if you have the capacity to be able to do so. I've definitely seen more casual talking, more TikTok kind of shorts find success on YouTube as well, so I will keep trying at it. So if you see my shorts feed be all over with experimental things and different types of videos, that is why, and you'll know why, and hopefully I will find success and give you more updates soon. That's pretty much everything that I've learned so far about this whole shorts journey, and if you guys have found it helpful or insightful, don't forget to give this video a like. It really helps me out, and subscribe for more of this kind of content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!